We return 4 or 5 girls that got a decent amount of playing time last year. We ended the season with letting an opportunity kind of slip away from us, and I think it's made them hungry. They knew how close we were to taking the next step as a program. And these girls have been working hard. They wanted to work just about right after the season was over. We started, I think the season was over a week, and we started working again. So they've been hungry.
So how is that sort of translated into sort of trying to get ready for this year and establish, sort of what your team's identity is going to be on the court this year?
We're not going to change a lot of the things we do. We're going to sit down and guard. Our defense is going to be our identity. We're going to run fast. Tempo is going to be a big thing for us, and we're going to do what we do in that regard. One thing that is different this year for me is the trust factor that I have with this group. It's scary to trust 15 to 18-year-old girls on a court, but they've earned that, and I feel good that I can believe in them and trust what's going to happen when they're out there.
We'll go to the players now, and we'll just go one at a time here, but talk about how you feel about this year's team and what your thoughts are on this upcoming season.
I mean, coming into this season, I was a little nervous. We only have 2 seniors, but I know a lot of the freshmen are going to be able to help us in practice, to help us get ready for game-like situations. And, with these 2 being my little sidekicks, I'm really excited for this year, and I'm ready to see how far we can take it into the season.
I feel confident. We're more disciplined this year than we were last year. We gained a lot more knowledge basketball-wise, and we are young, but mentally we're a lot stronger.
Like Coach Shirley said, I think we have a bigger hunger this year, with ending the season the way we did. We want it a lot more, and I'm really excited to see what our hunger and how far it can take us.
Coach, you play in a pretty difficult region in 7-4A that had a lot of good teams in it last year. How do you prepare for that region as you head through non-region play and get ready to head into that slate?
It is one thing I try to preach to our kids is we got to control the controllables, control what we can control. We can't control one of the teams returned every single player. One team is a private school and play, is a little different. And it is what it is, and we can't control any of that. And so we're trying to focus on us and controlling what we can control. And if we do that, I think we're talented enough for things to work out for us.
We're really excited about the group we have this year. We're probably bigger down low than we've ever been before, and so that's something that's going to be different this year that we hadn't had in the past. We've got some really good guards returning this year. Probably one of our biggest concerns right now is depth. But as far as work ethic and knowing the game of basketball, these girls are doing everything we need for them to do, and we're excited. We have 3 starters back this year. We have 5 players back that saw significant action last year. So, we're really excited about the possibilities right now.
Obviously, you guys play in a little bit of a unique region in Region 8A where you've got a lot of public schools and a lot of private schools. But you were able to get to the semifinals in Region 8A last year. Talk about how you feel this team stacks up in this region and what kind of challenges this region presents.
Well, the region's loaded in girls basketball, and it's going to be even more so this year. With Jan Azar coming into the region, with Hebron and Prince Avenue, Athens Academy, they all have pretty much everybody coming back this year. We feel like we're going to really be competitive, and we're excited, to get into region play. But we're just going to have to take it one game at a time because, again, everybody that we play right now is probably going to have a little bit more depth than we do. So our goal is to be in better shape than everybody we play right now.
We'll head on down to the players here, just one at a time. Thoughts on how this offseason has gone and your thoughts on this year's team as you get ready to start the season.
During the off season, a lot of us go in and we shoot around and just practice on individuals, and I think that's very good for our team starting off like with a regular season because we're already pushing ahead. And I know a lot of our returning players have been working hard. I see them every day as a senior working on playing their best, doing their best to get their skills better, and always working on becoming a better player as it is. And along the season, it's very you can tell that we've worked hard and that we're always trying to do our best because we are in a competitive region. And, you know, like we always try our hardest to do what's best for our team.
This off season was like pretty, we improved even though we lost a lot of key players, starters, and mature players. But the younger girls are really coming in and working hard, and I'm excited about this season.
Off season, we've been conditioning a lot because we're not very deep, so we got to be in shape. And we've been working on the basics because we lost 5 seniors last year. So,
like the others said, I feel like we just need to get more condition-wise, and we'll be good that way.
Coach, your thoughts on the biggest keys for this team to succeed this year, and you know, sort of what kind of expectation level you have for this team this year?
I definitely feel like, you know, we pretty much have the same guard play we had last year, and we shot the ball from outside really well last year. I feel like the biggest key this year is our inside play, being able to get the ball into those post players, take a little bit of the pressure off the guards on the outside. I honestly feel like from last year to this year, we actually have a much more balanced team skill-wise at every position. Again, we just don't have the same depth that we had last year, but as far as inside and out, I feel like, you know, person for person, we're pretty balanced, and hopefully we'll make it tough for people to defend because we got several different options to go to, whereas last year, you know, we didn't feel like we had quite as many options offensively, especially.
This year's team, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of energetic freshmen. We majority make up freshmen, 2 sophomores and 3 juniors. This off season has been going pretty well, installing a new offense, definitely pushing defense as our focal point. Other than that, they definitely have the hustle and energy and effort to do some things this year.
Talk about it in terms of on the court, maybe X's and O's, what you think the identity of this team is, what kind of style you are going to look to play this year.
We are extremely guard heavy with 3 posts, so we're looking to run the floor for the most part. Again, our offense is to definitely run and gun and transition, push the ball, obviously have court offense to do a lot of give and goes to a certain extent. But that's what we look like for offense.
Let's head on down to the players and talk about how you feel about this year's team and what the expectations are for the season.
I feel really good about this year's team. We lost 5 seniors last year, and we don't have that many players this year, so we've been conditioning a lot to be able to run the floor.
I personally feel like we're going to do pretty good. We have a strong bond with each other, so we won't clash as much on the floor, but I think we'll have a good season.
We've been working hard to try and learn some plays and just get the feel for each other because, like Coach Pullen said, we've got 4 freshmen, and so all of us are really just trying to figure out who we're going to be on this team and learn our place.
Coach, they mentioned there that you guys maybe don't have a ton of depth. You have a lot of young players. Talk about sort of how you've been trying to build that and how you feel about the roster right now.
Again, we've been trying to build that chemistry with the younger group coming up through a lot of 4-on-1s, just as well as them getting to know me since this is my first year here. But for the most part, everything we've been doing in practice is leading up until now.
Well, we have probably the best leadership we've had in a while. I'm not saying this because they're up here with us, but our 2 seniors, Trey Walters and Gainesville, are as good as senior leaders that I've ever had. We have a really big junior class with a lot of kids that have contributed in that class. And we have some really talented young kids, so it's going to be a really good fun season to see how we all work together. We scrimmaged last night. I told them after scrimmage that, you know, we got a lot of parts back and we got to put them all together for the puzzle.
this year. As you said, we do have 7 of the 10 back, and we have a lot of new, good young kids that I feel like once we get them ready, can help contribute. Really excited just to be able to play with them, and feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, like you said, having returners, there's a lot of experience now, so we know what we're doing and we can get it done.
What is it like playing in this kind of program where you won so many state titles? What is it like to play with sort of the expectation?
I'm just going to check it. I'm just literally going to check that we're getting it. Last year, we were blown out.
Well, first of all, playing in this program is like such a blessing. Everything that we've done is just major. And playing for Coach Jordan, it's hard, but it makes it a lot of fun to know that you have coaches who extremely care about you and expect the best out of you.
It is a lot of pressure because it is such a winning program, but that's not what we like to focus on, and it is more about the culture and the memories and the fun, and winning just kind of comes along with it. So.
All right, now to Coach Shuck. Coach, talk a little bit about Jackson County, what attracted you to this job, and what you feel like, how you feel about the program as you head into your first year.
Well, I think a couple things that attracted me to the job in the first place was the growth of just the community and the area in general. And then another thing is when I was at Walnut Grove High School last year, I came and I scouted a game over there, and I got there early and I saw these girls play. And I just kind of said, if this job ever came open, I'm going to put in for it. It seems like a good place to be at. I know there's a strong support with athletics. And so those are two of the biggest factors that attracted me.
So as you get ready to sort of start building your program, what are the things you want to kind of build this program around headed forward?
I want to build this program to where we get to a point where we're competing for championships every year, region championships, state championships, and that's a process. But the girls, they're bought in, they're working hard. I think we've done a good job developing the feeder program. We've got stronger numbers than in years past, so I feel like things are going in a good direction.
When you said earlier that you saw the girls play and that was kind of part of what attracted you to the job, what did you see out of the way they were playing that made you want to come and coach this group?
Just watching them play, I felt like I thought they were skilled. I thought they were very coachable. You could tell that they get along and they liked each other on the court. And those are things that we're building on to try to get some more wins this year.
Heading on down to the players now, your thoughts on, what Coach Shuck has brought to this program and what your expectations are headed into the year.
Well, so far I think Coach Shuck has really sort of outdone himself because he's brought in so many different new ideas to help build the program. And I think that it's going to take us farther than we've gone before.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. I think we'll do a lot better than what we have been.
I think it's definitely a step up from last year, and our bond this year is definitely a lot stronger, and we're definitely working better together on the court.
Coach, what do you feel like talk about the style of play you're going to look to implement and what you feel like the strengths of your team might be?
Still to be determined. We're working on that on a daily basis. I know whatever we do, we've got to be able to pass, catch, dribble the basketball. Working on feeding the post has been a big emphasis. We got to have a post presence. But it's still a work in progress. Personally, I'm a motion guy. I like to run a 4-out 1 motion, 3 around 2. But we're really just teaching them how to play basketball and how to read defenses. We don't have a set style per se right now.
All right, well, those are the Jackson County.
So our first year, we tried not to use it's our first year as an excuse ever. We wanted to compete every day, so we're just building on that and setting the precedents and the foundation that we set last year and trying to build on that and grow every day and become better each day. And that's our goal, is to be better at the end of the season than we are at the beginning.
Obviously, you had a pretty good year last year in that you were able to make the playoffs in your first year as a program. Talk about how you're looking to build on that and what kind of a team you feel like you have coming back for this year.
We're definitely looking to build on that. we had 2 seniors last year that were a huge part of our team that are gone, and we have a lot of young players, especially at the guard position, who haven't played varsity experience, but we also have a lot of post players who do. So it's a different look for our team this year, but our goal is still the same, to compete every night and to focus on us and being the best team that we can be.
How has the process gone, or how has practice gone, as you've kind of tried to sort of shift the team style of play in the way that you just said? How has that process gone?
It's gone great. We started that process over the summer, working hard and using the strengths that we have right now to our advantage. But we've worked really hard so far. Our volleyball team did well, and we have a lot that play both sports. So we focused a lot on fundamentals initially, and we're kind of getting into the meat of what we want to do now. And they're working really hard, and we're proud of them.
We'll head down to the players now, and just one at a time. Your thoughts on the team you have coming back this year and your expectation level for this season.
I expect to get farther and work hard this year, work harder than we did last year. Like she said, we're post heavy this year, so being big down low and being better on that side than most teams are. And since we have a hard region, just working against what other people don't have.
We have to focus on our energy and effort and working out together as one and getting the ball in around the rim as much as we can, because post heavy, and just working together.
This year we don't have many consistent shooters like we did last year, so our main focus is to get the ball to the post. So what we have to work on is our guards and handling the ball with pressure just to get it there.
And Coach Justice, biggest keys for this team this season?
The biggest what?
Biggest keys for the team this season?
The biggest keys is just to be consistent with our effort and our energy and to progress each day. That's going to be key for us, is to not continue to make the same mistakes over and over, but to progress and grow as a team and stay together and focus our energy together as one.
We feel real good about it. We're coming off of a good season. We lost 4 of our 5 starters. Quality starters, had 2 go on to play college ball, and so we feel like we're a young team, but we also feel like we've probably got more depth than we've had in the past. We're hoping that people hopefully underestimate us a little bit and hopefully fly under the radar, losing 4 out of 5 starters, but we feel like we're in the process of building that team chemistry. Right now, we had a really good summer. We've already had our first scrimmage this past Monday. It went really well. And so, like I said, we're hoping to build that chemistry, continue to build that depth, and looking forward to the season.
Well, you talked about the process of trying to build that chemistry. How have you felt about how that process has gone and where your team is right now?
We feel like, coming up with kind of a little bit of a new system and trying to get the girls to buy into it. And I feel like so far that the girls have bought in. We've worked hard with our conditioning throughout the summer and throughout the preseason, probably harder than we've ever worked since I've been at the high school as far as our conditioning goes. And so we're excited. We feel like the girls have bought into it, and we're looking forward to the season starting.
You mentioned earlier that you're kind of shifting styles of play a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you guys will look to do this year.
Well, we're hoping to put a whole lot more defensive pressure on teams than we have in years past, and hopefully allow our defense to generate more of our offense a little bit. And not depend so much on the half-court sets like we have in the past. We've been a strong half-court set team. So we're hoping to kind of just change our style just a little bit, be able to put more pressure on teams defensively and push the ball more on offense.
Heading down to the players here, one at a time, your thoughts on what you feel like the strengths of this year's team are.
We've been working a lot on our conditioning and trying to get more in shape, better than we was last year. And our 4-on-1s that we've been doing has helped a lot as well, because we include our conditioning into that. So as far as conditioning wise, and then adding it to our new style of playing, it's helped us a lot.
We have a good balanced team. We have a bunch of good three-point shooters, and we have good post.
I feel like we have a lot more depth coming off the bench than we have in past years, and we're able to play a lot more bench players than we have in the past.
Coach, one last question. Your expectation level, or sort of your thoughts on what kind of a team you've got, how far you think this team can go?
I think this team is capable of going just as far as we have in the past. I feel like our goal always remains the same, is we want to compete for region. We want to try to go back to state like we have the last 3 years. I feel like this team, like I said, is young. It may take us a little while to get going, but you know, we've only got 3 seniors this year. I think, as I said, I think a lot of people look at what we lost and need to realize the quality of the starters that we lost. These girls that are going to be playing this year probably could have played on a lot of teams last year. So we feel like, you know, we've got a lot of good talent coming back that maybe a lot of people don't know about, but hopefully you'll get their opportunity to show everybody what they got.
All right, moving on from the Banks County girls.
We had a great off season. We've been working hard since the spring through the summer. A lot of work in the weight room. We're going to be a very young team. We graduated 5 seniors last year. We'll dress 9 this year, and of those 9, 6 will be freshmen. 1 senior, Madison's our only senior, so we're young, but we're a very skilled, energetic bunch.
How has it been bringing up those freshmen? Because obviously with the numbers you just mentioned, several of those freshmen are, you know, some are going to have to be starters, some are going to have to be key contributors. How has the process gone of sort of bringing them up and getting them ready for varsity speed?
Very seamless. We've worked very hard with our middle school over the past 2 years. So, you know, our kids know one another. They understand our culture and the expectations, and the 3 ladies with me here today have made sure that they understand how we do it at Lumpkin.
What are the strengths of this team as you head into this year in terms of on the court? What do you feel like we'll see out of your team this year?
We've got a very skilled bunch. I think we shoot the ball very well from all positions. Reasonable amount of versatility, but a very, very skilled group, both shooting, handling the ball. So I would say versatility and overall skill level.
You know, what are your expectations level as you sort of continue to work with this program?
That's never going to change. We expect to win. Every time we step on the court, that's the culture we aimed to create 2 years ago. It's next man up. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior. Our expectation is we're going to compete and we're going to win.
All right, heading down to the players here, and just one at a time, your thoughts on this year's team and what your expectation levels are for this year.
You know, we're really young still, but the freshmen have really stepped in, and they know the expectations and they know what they have to do.
As Isabel said, we are young, but they picked up the roles that the seniors left behind, and I think we're going to be really solid this year.
Not only have the freshmen stepped up this year, but like us 3 have stepped up knowing that we have fewer and like not as much experienced players. So we've understood our role more than the freshmen have to.
Keeping it with the players, being the 3 seniors and having all those freshmen, I know that you guys have probably had to help bring them up as much as the coaches have, and how has that gone, and how are those freshmen coming up?
It's gone well. Just the freshmen, like, I feel like I've been playing with them for like all through high school now. Like, our chemistry on the court and in the locker room is amazing.
Yeah, they're a fun bunch to be around. As we come up, as they're young, but they still have a lot more skills that we need on the court, and they picked it up.
They're definitely going to contribute because they have the ability to do so.
Coach, biggest keys for your team this year?
Because numbers continue to be a challenge for us, I think, you know, we've got 3 rules. You can't get hurt, you can't get sick, and you can't get in foul trouble. So if we can, if those 3 things can hold true, we're going to be fine.
All right, we'll move on down to the Lumpkin County.
We've been practicing hard, playing hard at practice with each other, and there's a lot of expectations for the girls over here. We didn't lose anybody. We had no seniors last year, so we're going to try to win some of those close games we didn't get a chance to win last year.
I mentioned this earlier. We had another team from 7-4A up earlier. It was CHESTATEE, but you play in a pretty tough region there in 7-4A. Talk about, you know, how you've tried to set up that early part of the season to get you ready for that region slate.
Well, we're going to scrimmage RABUN County, who's a perennial powerhouse. So We just try and find really tough games to play, and iron sharpens iron, so we're just going to try and be as good as we can get.
With not having lost any players off of last year's team, you have to be feeling pretty good about the chemistry of this year's team coming into this year.
Well, you would hope they all like each other. You would hope they all want to play together, and it seems that way, or else they got me fooled. So that does help. It does help when you like each other, that's for sure.
Talk about the makeup of the roster and what we can expect to see out of this team this year.
Well, you can expect them to play hard or not play. You can expect them to play together or not play, and you can expect them to make plays or not play.
We'll move on down to the players here and talk about, you know, sort of coming off of that playoff trip last year, what you guys are taking into this year and your expectation level for this season.
Last year we should have won our playoff game, and we bring that up in practice all the time, and we try to improve our communication and things that we lacked last year. That way we can make it farther than we did.
I agree with what Bentley said, and last year we didn't lose anyone. We just gained players, so I feel like that's a strength we have, and we can only grow.
We all played together as a team really good this year, and we have new freshmen coming up who we just play really good together, and I think we'll work hard.
Coach, what are the keys going to be for this team to sort of take that next step and make a deeper run into the postseason?
One of the biggest things is just really playing for somebody else, not playing for yourself, not worrying about any stats for you, just worrying about the team, because we have so many people that have experience. So you can't really, get bummed out if you don't start. You can't really get bummed out if you only play, 4 minutes. Whatever your time is there in the court, you need to make the best of it for the team and just worry about whether or not White County has more points than the other team.
On the court, what do you feel like the strengths of this year's team are?
We look to press and get up and down the floor. We're pretty aggressive. We have a lot of guys or girls that can make shots, and we look for each other. We share the ball well. And, we just try to basically win.
Biggest keys for this year's team?
Rebounding, hitting open shots, and playing defense, not giving up easy baskets. That's one of the keys. When we give up too many easy baskets, it's hard to come back from those deficits.
It's been going good, 4-on-1s in the preseason, and now we're practicing and going. Finally got our softball girls back. They had a great run in the tournament, but just good to have everybody back so we can scrimmage, put in our plays. Girls are working hard and just moving forward, looking forward to the season.
Talk a little bit about the makeup of this year's team, what y'all's strengths might be on the court.
Yeah, our strengths, I would say, is our quickness. We're guard heavy. So we'll be putting pressure on a lot of people and just trying to make them move the ball, create some turnovers. And on offense, we'll be doing the same thing, dribble drive. Hopefully we make some shots, try to get to the rim, just play good defense and offense.
And then talk a little bit about the makeup of your roster in terms of experience, seniors, juniors, sophomores.
Yeah, well, all of our seniors are right here. We got 4 of them. We got a couple sophomores and a couple freshmen. This crew right here brings a lot of experience. Our younger players are very talented. They help us out tremendously. Good on offense, and we're trying to coach them up, teach them how to play some defense in the way we play defense. And so, yeah.
Moving on down to the players here, just one at a time, your thoughts on this year's team and what you think your strengths are.
I think that this year we're going to come together more as a team, and we definitely put in a lot of work in the preseason, and we're just working a whole lot harder.
We just got to come out here and play hard, have a lot of energy. That's what it's about.
Your thoughts on the strengths of this year's team and just your thoughts on this year's team overall.
I think we definitely have good chemistry with the team. We have good ball players, and our freshmen bring a lot to the team this year.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what she said, our freshmen do bring a lot of energy, and it's helpful to the team in the long run, and we all work really well together.
Coach Wheeler, biggest keys to this team for this team to be successful this year?
I definitely would say intensity on defense. We got to be able to defend and rebound the ball. We don't have a lot of height, so getting rebounds is pretty crucial for us. Once we get the ball, if we can get out and run, that would be great. But two things for us is defend and rebound.
Sure. I mean, we had a really good season. I thought kind of disappointing end for us. That game still haunts us a little bit, and I think it's provided a little bit of fire for us heading into the season. We had a great first half against Early County and just didn't take care of business in the second half. So there's a little bitterness there, but I think it's made us a little more hungry this year to, we were successful 28-2, but for us it just wasn't quite enough. So these girls have worked hard in the off season. We've done a lot of early morning workouts, and hopefully just getting our mind and our heart in a place where we can be competitive despite losing two very prominent scorers in Georgia Stockton and Brooke Hendricks.
Well, I know you talked about losing two good players there, but tell us a little bit more about what you bring back off of that 28-2 team and sort of what the makeup of this year's team will look like.
So sitting here with me is a really good group of seniors. I'm going to rely heavily on them as far as their leadership goes. I think your team is only as good as your senior leadership. And so I'm really fortunate to have 4 girls here who have dressed varsity for 4 years. So they bring a lot of experience, and we have a really solid group of sophomores that we're going to be depending on as well. And that mix of having leadership with young talent is going to be crucial for us if we want to experience success at a high level.
Moving on down to the players here, talk a little bit about, obviously a great season last year and how that loss, what that loss has, or how it has carried over into this offseason.
I think that loss has made practice, every player's focus. They want to get better. It's something that pushes you to do your best because you know that you had a little bit of a letdown. Like, as a team, that's something we always have high expectations. We want to win. So I think this year everybody's working that much harder to prepare for that state run.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the older girls, felt that loss. A lot of the younger girls didn't feel that loss, but I feel like the younger girls understand, where we're coming from and that hurt, and they're putting the work in and they're ready to come in and play hard as well.
I think that loss definitely motivates us in practice every day. We want to get better and we want to do better in the playoffs, so that loss definitely helps but hurt us last year.
I think that loss really hit us hard, and I think that every young player comes into practice knowing what we expect. We expect to make it farther than last year. So,
Coach, I know you talked about the senior leadership on this team, but on the court, what will we see out of this year's team?
Well, I mean, our expectation is that we play hard. Every minute, every possession, we play hard, or you will find yourself sitting beside me on the bench. And I think one of the strengths we have this year is that I do have 10 or 11 kids that can come in and contribute, and so nobody's position is safe at this point. We talk about that every day at practice. So if you're not willing to lay it on the line for us at practice and every possession of every game, then you're probably not going to get a lot of playing time. So I think that expectation comes from my senior leadership. They've been there, they understand that, and that just carries over into those young kids. So our expectation is that we play hard.
What are the biggest things you want to see this year's team improve on?
Oh, goodness. Right now that list is very long. We did a full court kind of in team scrimmage, and it just was not very good, and I think the girls will agree with that. So there's a lot of areas. We got to get better at communicating on both sides of basketball. We have to shoot the ball a little bit better. We have to do better on our defensive rotation, and then offensively just being patient within our sets so that we can create not good shots but great shots.
Well, we had our first scrimmage last night. A lot of things to work on. But we only lost one senior last year, and so I got one senior, 7 juniors, and 3 sophomores. So I had a young team last year, and I got almost everybody coming back.
Well, just talk about the direction of the program right now and how you feel about the state of Stevens County basketball.
Last year we were young, and we had a couple of injuries, so we didn't quite make it to state. We were a few minutes short, in that play-in game. And I think that has motivated us to get to state this year. Stevens County has not been to state in about 5 years. And so that's one of our goals this year is to make the state tournament.
Well, talk about sort of the makeup of your team, what you have coming back into this year.
Last year, one of our good guards, really our point guard, she tore her ACL. So she's coming back this year. And then I've got 7 juniors, 3 sophomores coming up. Going to have a lot of speed, a lot of be able to sub more, be able to finish.
Talk about the style of play you guys will look to sort of implement and what you think the strengths of your team might be.
This year we're going to press more, fast break more. We got more guards than we do post. We do have 2 good posts though, Renaja Verdell and Brooklyn Steeples, so we're going to kind of pound it into them. But then we also we're guard heavy, so we're going to fast break more, press more, and try to, get more outside shots.
And what's your expectation level for this year's team?
Expectation level is, to make it to state. That's one of our goals, is to make it to the state tournament. And, do good in region, not be stuck in that 4 or 5 game, that's the pressure game. But to be maybe 2nd or 3rd in the region and try to get, last year I got my senior signed. First time in 5 years that a Stevens County Lady Indian had signed to go to college. And so I was very proud of that fact. And so this year I want to continue that trend, get my girls signed to go to college. And that's another goal. But I think our team goal is we're going to focus 1 game at a time, and that's what will hopefully get us to the state tournament.
We did have 6 seniors last year, but super excited about the 4 we have coming back this year. It's going to be a unique team as we have these 4 and then 2 more upperclassmen, and the rest is freshmen. And there's about 8 or 9 of them that we think could contribute on any night. So we're just kind of seeing how that plays out right now in practice. So it's a great mix of experience and then excitement, fearless excitement from our freshmen.
I know you lost your top post player from a year ago, but I know you returned several guards. Talk about the makeup of this team and how you guys will look to play.
Last year we did have a very good post player who went to college, but Grace on the end and Macy, they also did a lot of our scoring for us as well. Another young guard in Riley McCall that came in. But as far as the post presence, the 2 here, Lauren Swanson and Ansley Smallwood, they do a really good job defensively, even though undersized. I feel like, they're really going to be able to pick up some of that slack. But again, just very well-rounded team, I think, and a lot of people that can contribute.
We'll head on down to the players, and just one at a time, just talk about your thoughts on this year's team and what you think the strengths of it are.
I definitely think our strengths are going to be on the defensive end because, we're bringing up a bunch of freshmen and they have a lot of heart and hustle. So I think that's going to be one of our strengths.
I agree with Macy. We're definitely a fast-paced team, and so we'll be good on the defense. And our freshman class really brings a lot of energy, which has definitely livened us up a lot as seniors.
I think we're very motivated, and we've got a bunch of freshmen that can come in and finish the job and get it done.
Like they said, we have a lot of defensive energy that a lot of our freshmen have brought to the table. We have a few shooters, so I think we'll be pretty good on offense.
All right, Coach Hiles, talk about how you guys will look to play this year with the roster you've got, style of play, things like that.
I don't know. I'm worried because it seems so awkward right here, right now. But I think they'll warm up in a minute. But we're going to play more fast-paced. Again, when you lose a post like what we had, we did concentrate a lot on running things through her last year, and this year, we don't have that option. But I like it because we're spreading the floor out a little bit more and trying to create some more turnovers on defense and really just freeing them up and letting them play fast.
This year's team's still a very young team. Last year we started at times 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores. So this year's team is not going to be a large difference from last year. It's going to be very young still, but at least our youth now has some experience that we didn't have last year. So we're hoping to build on that experience and just get better every day.
As you try to sort of get this program back to success, how has that process been going, and how do you feel about where you are right now?
I feel like we're in a good place. We're teaching our kids how to work. Our off-season program this year has just been really good. We've had speed, quickness, agility since last March, and our kids have been there. 77 workouts, I think, is what the total number of workouts were, and we had kids make 74, 73, 72 of those workouts. So, they're learning what dedication and hard work pays off. So we have gotten faster, stronger, quicker, those kind of things during our off-season. And I think that's going to pay off for us in the season.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about the team as far as on court, what some of the strengths are, and how you guys will look to play.
Well, we don't bring a whole lot of size because I've heard those words before today. We don't bring a tremendous amount of size, but we better bring a lot of passion and energy to it. We better be a good defensive club, and we've been a pretty good defensive club the last couple of years, and we just want to continue to accentuate that, and we want work on our spacing offensively so that we can attack the rim and play offense the way we're supposed to.
Moving on down to the players here, talk about what your expectation level is for this season.
The expectation level this year is definitely going to be a lot more than it was last year, coming back with more experience, only losing one senior last year. So it's a bunch of the same girls. We're definitely going to push each other more than we did last year because we're obviously expecting more.
Yeah, and the same thing as her, just like we have higher expectations this year because we've all been working together for more than a year now, and I think we can push each other and just expect more from each other to do better this year.
Coach, what's the biggest improvement you want to see your team make this year?
Just basketball IQ, and again, we're still talking about youth, and so we're still training at basketball IQ, but once that comes, we've got athletes, we've got kids that really care, want to play, and now we've got to get to the point where we play smart, and when we play smart, I think wins will take care of themselves.
Well, I'm a first-year head coach here at Lanier Christian, and we bring back the whole starting lineup from last year, so that's a good thing. We're deep in the bench, but we've already started with injuries with these two girls that I brought. One's got a broke wrist and one's got a hurt ankle, so we'll just see how our depth works early.
Well, Coach, what brought you to Lanier Christian? What sort of led you to this position?
My kids, I enrolled at Lanier Christian about 5 years ago, and I got involved in the program being an assistant coach with Coach Roberts with the boys, and it's kind of just led me to the fact that we are without a girls head coach, and just prayed through it, and they offered me the job, and I said, let's do it.
Well, talk a little bit about this year's group. I know you've talked about the depth a little bit, but tell us a little bit about the team you have right now, what you think the strengths of it might be.
I've got girls that have been starting since their freshman year, so they're 4 juniors that have been there, started when they're freshmen. I've got the one senior that's been starting 4 years, so I've got a lot of experience on 2 teams that the last 2 years we've finished second in the state, and we're trying to develop shooters through that and just keep working really hard in the summer.
Moving down to the players here, with Coach Robertson being in his first year, how has the transition been, and how have things been going this off season?
I think it would be a good transition because he was also like an assistant coach last year. So we're used to him coaching, and we're all super close as a team. So we all respect him. So I think it went pretty smooth.
The transition was good just because he's been on the bench for as long as I can remember. So it was easy having him coming in and coaching us, and I feel like it's just going to be a good season.
Coach, I know you said that depth might be a little bit of an issue. Y'all are a small school, so does that amplify, the effect of having injuries like you mentioned earlier?
Well, early on, I told the girls last night one was in a brace and one was in a boot, and I said that to me it's an opportunity. It's opportunity for minutes because these were 2 starters that went down, so opportunity for the younger girls to get some playing time, and hopefully in the long run that'll help us.
Well, talk about the biggest keys for the team this year and what your expectation level is for this season.
Well, our defense was what we prided ourselves on, and this summer we worked really hard on our outside shooting, so we didn't take a lot of 3-pointers last year, but we're hoping to spread our offense out a little more, shoot the 3, and transition from our defense to our offense and get some points that way.
Yeah, we lost a great group of seniors, a great group of leaders, but really excited about the team we have this year as well. We have 2 returning starters that are up here with me today, and we have a really young group of freshmen who are talented and starting to figure it out. So our team's made up of 5 freshmen and 3 sophomores, some juniors and 1 senior. So definitely a young group, something that we haven't experienced in the last couple of years, but we're excited about that youth.
How have those freshmen and sophomores been developing as you look to bring them up to speed?
Yeah, they're coming along. They've got to figure it out early because we need them. We need them to play big minutes. So the summer was good for us, and this preseason has been good just for them to get on the court with each other and just start to mesh and learn the system. It's good that these 2 know it really well, and they can kind of help lead us and lead those freshmen. But they have a lot of excitement, and they have a lot of passion, so they're bringing a different element to our team.
Well, with such a younger team, will that affect in any way the way you guys play, or how will you guys look to attack teams this year?
No, I mean, we're going to have our same philosophies. You know, we like to run the ball, obviously, high intensity on defense, you know, get out in transition, obviously get inside a little bit more because we were more guard heavy last year. But as far as our, you know, system goes, it's pretty much the same, just having to take it step by step to, you know, get them to learn all the plays, and it's just a process, but we're excited about that process.
Moving down to the players here, you know, talk about how this team has been gelling during the offseason and what your expectations are for this year.
One thing that I feel like we've always been able to do easily is become like best friends really fast. We always mix really well, and there hasn't been very many problems like getting together. So I feel like just the fact that we're all so close already, that it's just going to help us out in the long run.
I think this year the younger girls that have came to the team, they have really like meshed with us really easily, and they've been working really hard to like get up to speed with us, how we play and everything, and I think we're going to have a great season.
Well, Coach, talk about the biggest keys for this team as you try to make another playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, our biggest keys is just understanding the game and just understanding game plans and just schemes. Just we've got to be a little bit smarter this year. We might not be as deep as we've been in the past, but we definitely have all the keys, and we have the potential to be very successful. It's just going to be about how this young group progresses throughout the year, and you know, how willing they are to learn and continue to grow. And you know, it's definitely something that our first couple games, our product might be a lot different, you know, from November to January. So that's something as a coach I'm excited about, just to have such a young group, and they're willing to learn and willing to adjust. So, you know, we're excited. We're excited about the opportunity, obviously, to, you know, play in our region, play in another Lanier land, and excited to see what we can accomplish.
It was a great first year for me. Really got, you know, that whole first year just getting to know the kids and getting to know the school. And we had a lot of successes. I think about upsetting GAC early in December, and then we had then January happened, and January was tough for us. But we're just continuing to grow and continue to build, and overall it was a great first year.
Well, I know you lost a couple of really good players off of last year's team, but I know you also have a lot coming back. So tell us what the makeup of this year's team looks like.
Yeah, on graduation night we lost about 50 points a night. So that was tough. We're going to have to be creative in how we score and how we attack people this year. We return the bulk of our team. A lot of juniors. We have 2 seniors, and we're going to rely a lot on our speed and try to be ultra aggressive.
Well, you know, a lot of people make a lot of things about it. You know, a coach, year 1 under a new coach to year 2 under a new coach being a big jump. Have you felt like your team has sort of made that in terms of grasping the schemes and everything you've been trying to implement since you've gotten there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, last year we had the summer, and then, you know, you get about 10 practices and you go play, so your system is very limited. And the girls are getting a lot more of what I would call my system this year than we did in the years past.
We'll head on down to the players now and just talk about how this offseason has gone and how you feel about this year's team.
The offseason was really good. We do have a lot of freshmen, but there's so much talent with the freshmen that I think like we're better individually, likewise. We have a lot more talent and we have a lot more speed, and I just think this season it'll be good.
I feel the same. Individually, we have a lot of good talent this year. Last year we did lose a lot of that, but I feel like this year it'd be good to have everybody.
Coach, what will be the biggest keys for this year's group?
Pacing ourselves. It's a long season. I felt like last year we came out the gates great and we got into region play, and this year we're really trying to have a growth mindset, and that's something that we've talked about every day in practice, having a growth mindset. Today we're in a place, and we want to make sure that come February we're in a better place.
Well, I think most of the time the expectations don't change. Everybody that's here today that has a team is wanting to win, and we're going to do everything we can to win the game. We have spoken a lot about playing your role, and I've heard some of the other coaches say the same thing. You know, if everybody does their part, everything is going to work out good. And as the man said earlier, get your priorities right. And, you know, you do what you're supposed to do. Everybody else do what they're supposed to do. And then it's amazing how things can happen when you work as a team.
Well, Coach, on the court, talk about how this team shapes up, what you think some of the strengths will be.
I think we're probably a little bit faster overall than we were last year. We've got people that can get up and down the floor a lot better this time. The positions 1 through 5 is what I mean by that. We're probably not as deep, so our top 7 or 8 are going to have to do their job for us to compete in our area, in our region, and everybody here knows what I'm talking about. North Georgia basketball is as good as you're going to see. You better be ready to play every night or you're going to lose. And, you know, we're going to do everything we can to win the games. The expectations are there. They know what they have to do. It's just a matter of going and doing it. And I'm just trying to keep up with Coach Carrick and Coach Vining.
All right, moving on down to the players here. Talk about how this offseason has gone and what your expectations are for the year.
So this offseason, I think it was really a good chance for us to kind of figure out what our strengths were as a team. We're missing a couple of players that were really big on our roster last year, but so just finding where we all stand and what our roles are going to be and coming together as a team. But we look really good, and I'm really excited for this season.
I feel like this offseason went really well. We really, this summer gelled as a team. We played a whole bunch of games together, and we were spread out between JV and varsity, so we didn't have many subs, so we learned to work with what we had. And that's going to work for us this season.
Well, yeah, this summer, I think we learned how to play as a team and how to play team ball, and we had probably over 6 people every game scoring at least. And I think we've just been learning how to come together and play for each other, not just for ourselves.
All right, Coach Sweat, biggest keys for this year's team to be successful? Biggest keys for the team?
Biggest keys, score the most points. Just being funny there. We have to, again, everybody's got to do what they're supposed to do. Shot selection is a big thing. We talk about that a lot. You know, just take a good shot that's the shot you're supposed to be shooting, and your chances of making it are a whole lot higher. So, you know, do your job. Take the shots that you're supposed to take. If somebody's got a better one than you, get it to them and let them take it, and let's get the most high percentage shot, because all the points we score goes on the same side of the board. We don't care who gets them. As Maddie said, usually we do have 5 or 6, sometimes 7, sometimes more than that people play, which means we're passing the ball, and we're going to have to do that. And then on the other end of the floor, I think this year we can probably get after them a little bit more. You know, our defense, we're looking for our defense to do stuff and hold the other team under the amount of points that we got.
It's been going pretty great. We have a little bit more depth this year. Last year we only played about 7 to 8 players, so now we have about 12 players. They can come out and compete every single day. It's been a little bit more of a challenge for some of them, because a lot of them, it's just they don't have enough, I guess, basketball IQ a lot. But I'm just trying to be as patient as I can to basically teach the basic fundamentals to each and every player.
As you head into your second year now at West Hall, talk about sort of how you feel the program is at this point as you look to continue to build it.
Well, the first year, I was getting to know the players. They was getting to know me as a coach. And now this year I feel a little bit more confident about the season, because I kind of know about each player, you know, their strengths and their weaknesses, and they kind of got used to me as a coach too as well, and kind of got used to the things that I like to run, things that I like to see. And I think this year will be a whole lot better than it was last year.
Well, what are some of the improvements you will need to make from that year to this year to make those improvements you talked about?
On the defensive end, we got to be able to defend to actually win some games. I mean, even shooting-wise, we got to be able to shoot the ball as well. I mean, we got to put the ball in the basket in order to win some games, but at the same time, we got to defend and stop the other team from actually scoring. So with those two together, I think if we work on those two things, then I think we'll be pretty great this year.
Moving down to the players, how has the offseason gone, and how are you guys feeling about this year's group?
This year's group, we're just looking for a lot of improvement. We're still really young and inexperienced, so over the summer we did a lot of practices, and we went to a few camps, and I saw a lot of improvement from the younger girls that are coming up and all the girls that have never played before and just really want to try to pick it up, so it looked good.
I think that we've done a lot of improving throughout the summer, especially in June whenever we got a lot of practices going on and getting to know our new players.
Coach Harrison, what are the biggest keys for this year's team to be successful?
Defend, like I said earlier. and scoring. That's going to be our main thing, and free throws for us. You know, our free throw percentage was really horrible last year, and that was the majority of our games. So we work on those things, and we win like a lot more games this year.
This year's team, things have gone terribly. We only have 9 players. 2 of those are at the doctors to see if they may have a stress fracture. It's 46 years of doing this, and then I'm going to practice with 5, 6 kids. So we got new rules, no fouls, no sickness, no broken bones.
Well, I know you being a relatively small school that can create those injuries can be a problem, but how do you move forward with that as you get ready with the season starting here in about a week?
Just play with what you got and just hope and pray they don't get in foul trouble, and probably play a lot more zone than we do because we might get in foul trouble.
You were able to win the region title last year. I know Region 8A can be a pretty tough region, but you know, what are the biggest keys for your team as you try to look to make another run through the region this year?
Well, in all seriousness, for these 2 young ladies here and another one, just don't foul because we don't have any depth whatsoever.
So talk about with the players that you do have, what are the strengths of the team, and what kind of style of play will you guys look to use?
I really don't know the style of play. I know how I used to always do stuff, but I don't know if I want to do it that way with pressing and running when I only have really 6 kids that can play. Our success, Liza Snyder next to me will sign next week with Mercer University. Jackie Allen has several 4 or 5 schools talking to her. Eliza's sister Joelle is a good player, shooter. And then Maddie Tolles, another player that is a good high school player. And outside of that, we're in trouble.
Moving on down to the players here, you know, just talk about sort of you know, with the circumstances of not having very many players available, you know, how does that change sort of the way you have to approach the game?
I think that it changes the responsibilities of everybody, and like everyone has to do everything more this year, where last year we had a really good post, Sadie, and that's one of the big things we're missing this year. So now it's going to be more mine and Jackie's job to like get those rebounds, but still score the ball and shoot the ball and move the ball. So I think that we're going to have to be in really good shape to be able to do everything, and I think that we'll be able to get it done.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Sure, just with the injuries and the numbers that Coach Carrick talked about, what will it take for you guys to sort of overcome that?
I would say just hustle back no matter what, talk, communicate, and just know how to like play a role like on the team, and just be careful.
And then, Coach, I'll ask you that as well. You know, with the situation being what it is, what are going to be the keys for you guys in order to overcome that and have the kind of season you want to have?
Well, I wasn't trying to be funny, not saying I don't know how we're going to play. We have a scrimmage game tomorrow. I don't even know how I'm going to do in that. But we've definitely got to stay out of foul trouble. I got to use all my timeouts in the right time, and maybe see if the other team would give us some of their timeouts.